Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in for another Cruise of Smooth. Hope y'all doing okay today. Before I get into it today, I want to just remind everybody to like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. There's a mosquito in my car. Not anymore. Cool. Sorry about that. I just want to remind everybody to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And let's just go ahead and go. So, I don't know if I've ever really talked about my work before. It's factory work. I build trucks. And by and large, it's the most diverse workforce I've ever worked with. As far as ethnicity. And I think part of it is due to just how big the place is. You know, I've worked at several companies where there were people of different ethnic backgrounds there, and I had no problem working with them. But just due to the size of them, before I worked at this factory building trucks, the single biggest employer that I was at for any length of time was a car dealership. Now, in the entire, they owned several franchises in the area, but in that line that I worked for, in that specific dealership, I want to say they had 60 people there. So not a lot of people. At my factory, there's 6,000 people. So you can see that there's just a lot of people I work with. And there's a certain appeal to factory work. You don't have to work with the public. I used to think I wouldn't like that. I love it. So anyway, last night in Louisville, where this plant's located, there was a curfew issued starting at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. you were supposed to be indoors. Our company gave us a one-call notification to kind of bring us up to speed on that it doesn't apply to us working night shift up there. They gave us some documentation saying, you know, hey, here's where we work, here's our shift, here's why we're not obeying the curfew. Because when we get off, it's, 5 in the morning. And when day shift's on the road coming in, it's, 5 in the morning. So that's the kind of thing. So they put that out. And then the city of Louisville gave a notification via emergency SMS last night that they, to start heading home due to curfew. Well, everybody's kind of doing what they got to do, working, and later at night, for certain people, the job calms down. And my team leader came and was talking with me and the dude next to me about everything that's going on. And I'm going to paint the picture here. And I like all these people that I was chatting with. But I'm going to paint the picture here. You had a black dude, my team leader, and a Indian dude by descent, I believe. Last name's Patel. So He doesn't sound Indian, but he looks Indian. Matter of fact, that guy, he was watching some of the live news coming in. They were amassing in downtown Louisville. They had to keep them off the interstate. Things like that. There were actually 2 cops that were shot last night. I don't know anything more about that. One was allegedly in the head, one was allegedly in the chest. Anyway, the 3 of us get talking about it, and I think the smartest, most balanced thing that was said about it was by my team leader, the black guy. He said, it's complicated. I'm like, well, yeah, it is. He's like, because on one hand, just because, he's like, no-knock warrants, I'm like, yeah, that's stupid. He's like, what would you do? I'm like, oh yeah. And I said, I think that no-knock warrants ought to be done away with. I said, but on the flip side, those cops got handed a no-knock warrant and were told, hey, go do this. And that's no different than you or I. Hey, go clean up your work area or build this truck or pick up this, or put this part on. I said, that's their job. He goes, you're right. I said, and then he said, and also, she wasn't the one that was shooting, which I've heard rumors to the contrary of that. But she wasn't the one shooting, her boyfriend was, but she's the one that got mortally wounded. I'm like, yeah. He said, but he shot at the cops. He hit the cops. I go, yeah. He's like, it's complicated. And then the cops that were doing the only cop that got in trouble on the Breonna Taylor case is the cop that was shooting blindly into her apartment through a window, and the reason he got in trouble is because one of his bullets went into another apartment. I don't disagree with the outcome of the grand jury findings, but I think that the powder keg was going to get lit on this, and it's frustrating to see, if the cops that did that were guilty as sin, I said, they walk in and they're in their pajamas and they're watching Netflix and they walk in and just unload on them. I said, that's guilty as sin. He goes, yep. I said, and you want to, if you wanted to go after them cops, if the legal system wouldn't, I'm not saying that it's legal, but I can see the justification. He goes, yep. I said, the cops that got shot today, I guarantee they weren't there. He goes, you're right. And I said, the cops that are dealing with these people roaming in the streets, throwing bricks and everything, they weren't there. He goes, you're right. So, a lot of the anger is misdirected, and I think that they're not doing a good job at control. Right now, all they're doing is just being chaos, or something like that. There have been reports that there's $2 billion worth of damage done nationwide. This is from insurance companies due to these protests. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. And if you wanted to change something, fine, lobby, try to change laws. And the mayor in Louisville said that no more no-knock warrants. And I applaud him for that. If nothing else, I'll applaud him for that. because there's very little else that is worthy of applause from that man. So anyway, that's kind of all I got on that for today. Might be back a little later. I don't know. Take care, folks. See you next time.